We have now moved into the town of Daleiden, and man, it is a cold, windy, rainy day here. But just on the outskirts of this town, well, there is a German military cemetery that I honestly don't think gets a whole lot of attention. I just kind of stumbled on it myself. So we're going to go check it out. I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about this cemetery. There's this weird thing where on this channel people get mad if I don't know something. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to explore and to learn new things. So anyway, we're going to go check this out and see what we can learn. Here we're looking at the driveway that leads up to the cemetery, and my GPS kind of took me some wonky places, and to be right honest, I didn't take this path. I honestly think that I drove up a bike path, but anyway, I made it here. But if I would have driven the correct way in, well, as I was coming up the drive, I would have passed these stones here, and there you can see etched into it is the image of Christ being crucified on the cross. So they have these stations of the cross as you make your way up to the cemetery. And then right here on our left, they have what I am assuming is a memorial to the men from this town who died in the First and Second World War. Okay, so right here we have a statue that down below says St. George, and then if we walk in here, well, here you can see names of these men, like Matthias Bonds, Theodor Dahm, okay, men from this area, again I'm assuming, who died in the First World War, and then here down below 1939 to 1945, men from this area who died in the Second World War, and then it continues on over here. I don't know if these are First World War or Second World War names on these plaques. And then you can see somebody's been here and laid a few wreaths. At the time that I'm filming this, we're not too far removed from what would be in the United States known as like a Remembrance Day. Here in Germany. All right, making our way down this path to the cemetery now. Holy smokes. Like I said, it's been raining, and dadgum, these rocks are slicker than greased owl poop. Good grief, I about went down on my butt right there. Holy cow, I'm getting off of this path because that is slick as heck. Huh. Alright, well, we almost had another American casualty here in the Ardennes. Alright, we just got into the cemetery here. And as far as like the footprint of this cemetery, it's not very big. As a matter of fact, it's quite small. But from what I gathered, there are over 3,000 German soldiers that are buried right here in this small circular cemetery. There's a memorial here in the center of this circular cemetery that we're going to come back to in just a little bit. But first, I want to just do a little walkthrough and look at some of the graves that are here in this cemetery. And I've said before that every German cemetery that I've been to has been just a little bit different, and this one is no exception. The stones that they have in the cemetery are unlike any that I've seen in any other German cemetery. I'm not saying that there aren't others that are like it. It's just that there aren't any that I've seen that are like it. So here's one for Alphonse Goebel. Looks like he died on January the 22nd of 1945. Let's move on down here. This one, October 28th, 1944, for August Scheidlow. So October might be looking at Hürtgen Forest for that one. And then if we go on down here, let's see, here's another one for a soldier who was killed September 27th of, oh, wait a minute. That's probably his date of birth. I'm sorry. So he was born September 27th of 1914, but there's no death date recorded on that one. But yeah, this is very, very interesting. All right, here's one. Died December the 18th of 1944. Willie Marzai. So that is most likely Battle of the Bulge. That would have been on the third day of the battle that he died. Here's the grave of a Berthold Wolf, who died February the 10th of 1945. So this would have been after the Battle of the Bulge, when the Allies were pushing into Germany. And there are a few of these graves that I've noticed that have a photo that is placed by them. So here we can see a photo of this German soldier whose name was Friedrich Gunther, and he also died in February of 1945. As I'm going through here, I'm noticing a lot of graves from January and February of 1945. And here's one for an unknown German soldier. And then another one that's a little bit different. If we walk over here, well, here's one that has several names on it. And it looks like the dates are fairly close as far as the date of death. So why all of these names are on one stone, I'm not sure. My guess is that maybe they are commingled remains. Well, actually that doesn't make sense, because there's 1941, 42, 45. Yeah, so the dates of death are all different. So honestly, I'm not sure on this one. I'm over now at the far end of the cemetery, and you can see a little bit of the view from where this cemetery sits. So it's right up here on this hilltop, hence why it's a little bit extra cold today with the wind, which has actually died down a little bit now. But as I was walking through here, well, started noticing a few more graves from December of 1944. So if you look here, here's the grave of Oscar Hiller, who died December 16th. Here's a guy by the name of Winter, died December 16th. Another one, December 16th. December 16th. So these are most likely the graves of soldiers who died on the very first day of the Ardennes offensive. what Americans call the Battle of the Bulge. Moving on around, again, here is another grave, December 16th. Unknown soldier, and then December 16th. Unknown soldier. December 16th. December 16th. December 16th. There are just so many of these guys who got killed on that day. Golly. We have come full circle in the cemetery now. So we're going to go in here and take a look inside of this memorial. And when you walk in here, well, one of the first things that you notice are these plaques with all of these names of the dead just listed out alphabetically. And then in the middle, well, I don't know 100% what the symbolism here is. Here's what my assumption is going to be, is that it's a German mother who is grieving over her son. It could also be Mary and Jesus. So again, these are things that I have to do a little bit of research and look up, but you can see a few wreaths have been laid. But this is what sits in the middle of this cemetery. All right, well, that was a little bit from the German War Cemetery right here in Daleiden. Again, I don't think this is a cemetery that gets a whole lot of attention or a whole lot of visitation, so I thought it would be good to visit here and at least bring it to some people's attention. There's no famous generals buried here or anybody whose name you would know, just regular German soldiers who fought and died in the Ardennes and in the Rhineland in the Second World War.